First contact gone wrong. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the viewport as the EDV Harmony decelerated from its faster-than-light jump. Captain Maya Chen stood with perfect posture, watching as the massive Galactic Council station came into view. The enormous structure resembled a gleaming silver lotus, its petals slowly rotating to generate artificial gravity. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Maya said quietly. At 42, with a diplomatic career spanning 2 decades, she had been chosen to represent humanity in this historic moment. Her short black hair framed a face marked by intelligence and quiet determination. Commander Elijah Okafor stood beside her on the bridge, his dark uniform contrasting with the sleek white interior of humanity's most advanced diplomatic vessel. "Yes, Captain, though I'd feel better if their sensors weren't scanning us so thoroughly." Maya nodded slightly. Elijah had voiced concerns throughout their journey. Why had the Galactic Council suddenly approved Earth's membership after decades of observation? Why insist they arrive with just one ship? His military instincts had been on high alert since they'd received the invitation. "Standard procedure, Commander," Dr. Sophia Patel said as she joined them. The xenanthropologist was reviewing data on her tablet. "Though these scan patterns are more invasive than what they described in the briefing materials." The EDV Harmony was humanity's pinnacle of publicly acknowledged technology, a sleek diplomatic vessel housing comfortable quarters, advanced laboratories, and state-of-the-art defensive systems. What the Galactic Council didn't know was that its capabilities were deliberately understated. "We're being hailed," announced Lieutenant Rivera from her communications station. "On screen," Maya ordered. The main display flickered to life, revealing a being with silvery skin and 4 elongated eyes arranged horizontally. "EDV Harmony. This is docking control. Proceed to Bay 34 following transmitted coordinates. Deviations will not be tolerated." "Understood, docking control." "Following your guidance," Maya replied professionally. When the transmission ended, she turned to Elijah. "Is it just me, or was that noticeably less cordial than our previous communications?" Elijah frowned. "You noticed it too. Let's remain alert." Dr. Patel was still analyzing data. "Captain, I've been comparing their language patterns with our previous exchanges. There's a definite shift in tone. They're using more imperative structures and fewer diplomatic courtesies." Maya nodded thoughtfully. "Keep monitoring. Could just be a different communications officer." The truth was that Earth had known about the Galactic Council for nearly 50 years. The official story was that humans had only recently detected alien communications and developed faster-than-light travel in response. In reality, Earth had been quietly monitoring the Council, building up its defenses, and preparing for this moment while appearing to be technological newcomers. As the Harmony approached the docking bay, Maya went to her quarters to prepare. She opened a small case and removed a simple platinum pin shaped like an olive branch, both a symbol of her authority and a quantum-linked emergency beacon. One press would alert Earth to trouble. Maya's personal communication screen activated, showing her husband David's face. Despite the countless light years between them, the special quantum communication system made him appear as if he were in the next room. "Hey," she said with a smile. "About to dock. How are you feeling?" he asked, his eyes betraying concern despite his smile. "Like I'm carrying the future of humanity on my shoulders," she admitted. "But ready." David's expression grew serious. "The Secretary General called. She wanted me to remind you that Contingency Artemis is ready if needed." Maya nodded gravely. Contingency Artemis was Earth's emergency response plan, one they hoped never to use. "Let's hope for the best. I should have good news when I call tomorrow." After saying goodbye, Maya finished dressing in her formal diplomatic attire. A midnight blue suit with silver accents, the United Earth emblem visible on the breast pocket. She looked every bit the distinguished ambassador, though few would guess she had once been a decorated intelligence officer before turning to diplomacy. The ship shuddered slightly as it docked. Maya made her way back to the main deck where Elijah and Dr. Patel waited with 4 security officers, and 2 other diplomats. Remember, Maya addressed the group, we represent all of humanity today. Our goal is peaceful admission to the Galactic Council. We follow their protocols, but stay alert. The airlock cycled open to reveal 3 aliens waiting to greet them. In the center stood a tall, willowy being with luminescent blue skin and elongated limbs. A Viridian, the species that had founded the Council millennia ago. Ambassador Chen, the Viridian, spoke in perfect English. I am Coordinator Thalva. Welcome to Nexus Station. Maya stepped forward with a respectful bow. Thank you, Coordinator. We are honored to be here. As the delegation moved through the station's wide corridors, Maya noticed the curious and sometimes hostile stares from other aliens. The station was truly a marvel of technology, gravity manipulation, matter transmission pads, and beings of all shapes and sizes moving with purpose. The council session is eager to meet you, Thalva said. Your arrival has generated much discussion. I hope productive discussion, Maya replied diplomatically. Dr. Patil moved closer to Maya and spoke quietly. Captain, I'm picking up unusual communications on my translator. Several species are using what appear to be coded terms when referring to us. Before Maya could respond, they turned a corner and entered a vast chamber. The council hall was a massive amphitheater with hundreds of delegates from across the galaxy. A hush fell as the human delegation entered. Elijah leaned in. Captain, something's wrong. The security formation is too tight around us. This doesn't feel like a welcome. Maya nodded slightly. She had noticed the same thing. The security escorts had positioned themselves in a way that subtly blocked any quick exit. At the center of the chamber stood a raised platform where 7 aliens representing the council's leadership waited. Among them, Maya noticed a large gray-skinned being with bony ridges and unmistakable military bearing. A Drakari, known from intelligence briefings to be one of the more xenophobic species. Humans of Earth, announced a tall, spindly alien with compound eyes that Maya recognized as High Arbiter Zelana. You have been summoned to address serious concerns before the Council proceeds with any diplomatic relations. Maya stepped forward confidently. High Arbiter, we came in peace to establish friendship between Earth and the Galactic Council. What concerns do you wish to address? The Drakari representative stepped forward, eyes narrowed. Ambassador Chen, Earth stands accused of concealing its true intentions and military capabilities from the Council. We have evidence that your planet has been preparing for aggressive expansion. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Maya maintained her composure despite her rising alarm. This was not the welcoming ceremony they had been promised. General Krav, these accusations are unfounded. Earth seeks only peaceful cooperation. Maya replied firmly. The High Arbiter raised a hand for silence. The Security Committee has reviewed evidence submitted by the Drakari Intelligence Directorate. This assembly will now witness this evidence before proceeding. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber, showing what appeared to be massive human warfleets under construction. Maya immediately recognized the images as fabrications. These are false, she stated clearly. Earth possesses no such fleet. Elijah tried to move forward but was blocked by security. This is a violation of diplomatic protocol. The ambassador must be allowed representation and time to prepare a defense. Maya caught Elijah's eye and subtly touched the platinum pin on her lapel. Something had gone terribly wrong, and Earth needed to know. As the false evidence continued to play and the chamber grew more hostile, Maya realized with growing dread that this wasn't a diplomatic meeting, it was a trap. The Grand Assembly chamber erupted with shouts and accusations as more fabricated evidence was presented against humanity. Ambassador Maya Chen stood firm despite the growing hostility surrounding her. Commander Elijah Okafor and Dr. Sophia Patel exchanged worried glances as their security team was forcibly separated from them by alien guards. These accusations are entirely fabricated, Maya stated, her voice carrying across the chamber. Earth has no secret war fleet. We came in peace, seeking cooperation, not conflict. High Arbiter Solana raised all 6 of her spindly arms. The evidence speaks for itself, Ambassador. The Council has monitored your world for years. Your rapid technological advancement concerns many member species. General Crab of the Drakari stepped forward, towering over Maya. Humans developed faster than light travel mere decades after achieving spaceflight. No other species has advanced so quickly. This is not natural progress, but preparation for war. Maya attempted to approach the central platform, but was blocked. We advanced quickly because innovation is in our nature. We seek knowledge, not conquest. Lieutenant Rivera tried to signal Commander Okafor from the back of the hall. When their eyes met, she discreetly tapped her communication device and shook her head. The message was clear. All communications were being jammed. On Earth, in a modest apartment in New Geneva, David Chen watched his quantum communication screen with growing anxiety. The connection to his wife had been strong just minutes ago, but now showed only static. When the emergency alert on his government terminal began flashing, his heart sank. He immediately reached for the secure phone. "This is David Chen, authorization code Echo Sierra 793. The beacon is active." Back in the council chamber, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. What had begun as a diplomatic meeting had transformed into what seemed more like a trial. The Security Committee moves to classify humans as a potential threat to galactic stability, announced a bulbous alien with multiple eye stalks. Dr. Patel managed to inch closer to Maya. "Captain," she whispered, "this isn't just xenophobia. It feels coordinated, planned." Maya nodded slightly. She had already reached the same conclusion. This was not a misunderstanding, but a carefully orchestrated ambush. The question was why. Elijah was trying to reach their ship through his communication device without success when he noticed a small, nervous-looking alien aide watching him from a service corridor. The aide made a subtle gesture for him to follow. "Create a distraction," Elijah whispered to Dr. Patel. Dr. Patel immediately began a loud argument with one of the alien security guards about diplomatic protocols, while Elijah slipped away. In the dimly lit service corridor, he found the aide trembling. "Human Commander," the small green alien whispered, "I am Ziv of the Arcturine Collective. What you are witnessing is not the will of the Council, but a power grab. The Drakari have been planning this for cycles." "Planning what exactly?" Elijah asked urgently. "The militaristic factions fear human potential. They believe if they eliminate your ambassador and isolate Earth now, they can prevent humans from ever joining the Council. They have been manipulating evidence and bribing officials for months." In the main chamber, the situation was spiraling out of control. General Krav had taken central position and was now addressing the assembly directly. "The human threat must be contained immediately. We propose immediate quarantine of Earth's solar system and the detention of all humans currently in Council space." Maya tried once more to speak, but was physically prevented from approaching the platform. "This is a violation of the very principles the Council claims to uphold. We demand proper representation." "The time for talks has passed," General Krav snarled. "High Arbiter, call for the vote." The High Arbiter, who should have been neutral, seemed oddly compliant with the Drakari's demands. "The Security Committee will now vote on the classification of humanity as a Level 1 threat species." Maya watched in horror as the vote proceeded with remarkable speed. There was no debate, no consideration of evidence beyond what the Drakari had presented. Something was deeply wrong with the entire process. Dr. Patel had managed to access her universal translator and was picking up private communications between some delegates. "They're talking about some kind of demonstration," she whispered to Maya. "Something to ensure Earth's compliance." In the service corridor, Zid was growing more agitated. "Commander, you must return to your ship immediately. The Drakari plan to make an example of your ambassador." "What do you mean, make an example?" Elijah demanded. "In the ancient history of the Council, when a new species was deemed too dangerous, their representatives were removed. It hasn't happened in thousands of years, but General Krav has revived the old protocols. Elijah's blood ran cold. They're going to execute her. When he rushed back into the chamber, the vote had concluded. The High Arbiter was making an announcement. By decision of the Security Committee, humanity is classified as a Level 1 threat species. All human vessels are to be impounded. Earth's solar system is under quarantine until further notice. Maya stepped forward, her voice commanding despite the dire situation. I formally protest this decision and demand communication with my government before any action is taken. General Krav smiled coldly. Ambassador Chen, you have been found guilty of concealing Earth's militaristic intentions. The ancient protocols are clear on how to deal with threatening species. A circular platform rose from the floor, surrounding Maya and cutting her off from the rest of the human delegation. Elijah and Dr. Petal tried to reach her, but were restrained by security forces. What is the meaning of this? Maya demanded, her composure finally breaking. The High Arbiter's voice was cold. For the safety of the Galactic Council, and as a message to Earth, this assembly invokes the ancient statute of preservation. Ambassador Maya Chen, you are sentenced to immediate disintegration. A transparent energy field surrounded Maya. Lieutenant Rivera and the security team drew their weapons, but were quickly overpowered by Council forces. This is an act of war, Elijah shouted, struggling against his captors. Maya stood tall inside the energy field. She understood now that this had been the plan all along. Her execution would be used to intimidate Earth into submission. With calm dignity, she looked directly at the recording devices she knew would transmit her final moments to her home world. Earth will not bow to intimidation, she said clearly. Remember that we came in peace. General Krav activated a control on his wrist device. Let this be a lesson to all dangerous species who would upset the balance of power. The energy field around Maya began to glow brighter. In her final moment, she pressed the platinum pin on her lapel one last time. Her last thought was of David, and of the home she would never see again. The energy field flashed blindingly bright, and Ambassador Maya Chen was gone. The stars will remember. Miles beneath the Rocky Mountains, Secretary General Amara Okonkwo stared at the screen in horror. The entire Strategic Command Center had fallen silent as they watched Ambassador Maya Chen vanish in a flash of light. Her final words echoed in the suddenly quiet chamber. Earth will not bow to intimidation. They executed her, Admiral William Harrington said, breaking the silence. His weathered face was grim. Just like that. No proper trial. No defense. Secretary General Okonkwo stood up, her eyes never leaving the screen. How long until the broadcast reaches the public channels? 20 minutes, Madam Secretary, said Director Elena Volkov of Earth Intelligence Service. We intercepted it through our quantum network. Regular communication channels will receive it soon. And the crew of the Harmony. Being detained, according to our deep cover assets. The Council is placing them in protective custody while they prepare a blockade of our solar system. Secretary General Okonkwo took a deep breath. General Krav stated their forces would be in position within 3 standard days. They think they have time before we can respond. Her voice hardened. How wrong they are. Activate contingency Artemis. Now. The Strategic Command Center burst into action. Officers rushed to their stations, security codes were exchanged, and the massive screen at the front of the room changed to display a map of the galaxy with hundreds of blinking lights. Director Volkov looked at the Secretary General. Ma'am, once we do this, there's no going back. The Council will know our true capabilities. They executed our ambassador on false charges, Elena. They chose this path, not us. In a private office adjacent to the war room, David Chen sat with his head in his hands. He looked up as Secretary General Okonkwo entered. David, she said gently, I'm so sorry. Maya was a hero and a friend. David wiped his tears. What happens now, Amara? Contingency Artemis is being activated. Maya's death will not go unanswered. David stood up. I want to be part of the response team. I've been developing the Artemis targeting systems for years. I thought you might, Okonkwo replied. Report to Admiral Harrington. He needs your expertise. Deep inside a hollowed-out asteroid in the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune's orbit, Captain Nadia Petrova was already preparing her crew. The massive hangar before her housed rows of sleek warships, vessels far more advanced than anything Earth had ever publicly acknowledged possessing. Begin activation sequence, she ordered. Similar orders were being given in hidden bases throughout the solar system. Contingency Artemis had been established 20 years earlier when Earth first detected signals from the Galactic Council, while publicly developing basic space technology and presenting the image of a newly spacefaring civilization. Earth had secretly been preparing for the possibility that first contact might not be peaceful. In orbit around Jupiter's moons, inside Mars' hollow mountains, and hidden in the asteroid belt, Earth had built its true fleet using technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships and humanity's own rapid innovation. These vessels were equal to or superior to anything the Council possessed. All ships reporting ready, Captain, said her executive officer. Phase 1 of Contingency Artemis complete, Nadia confirmed. Begin Phase 2. Throughout Council space, tiny quantum devices that had been secretly planted by Earth's deep cover operatives over the past decade began to activate. These devices, no larger than grains of sand, had been carried aboard trading vessels, hidden in diplomatic gifts, and concealed in asteroid mining equipment. Each contained detailed maps of Council defense systems and precise coordinates for Earth's fleet to emerge from hyperspace. In the Strategic Command Center, Admiral Harrington was briefing the assembled military leaders. The Council believes we only have a handful of FTL-capable ships, all using their approved jump point network. They have no idea we developed our own hyperspace technology years ago. They're expecting us to take weeks to mount any kind of response, if we can respond at all. He pointed to the galactic map. We have 5,000 ships ready to deploy from hidden bases. Each ship carries quantum targeting data. We will emerge simultaneously at these 427 strategic locations throughout Council space. A young officer raised her hand. Sir, are we declaring war on the entire Galactic Council? No, Lieutenant, Admiral Harrington replied firmly. This is a precision strike against military targets, focusing on the Drukhari forces and their allies who orchestrated this travesty. Our goal is not conquest, but to demonstrate that humanity cannot be bullied or intimidated. In his quarters, David Chen was examining the targeting systems one final time. On his desk sat a photo of Maya, smiling, vibrant, alive. He touched it gently before returning to his work. The quantum targeting systems would ensure Earth's ships emerged precisely where needed, bypassing Council defenses. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet prepared to depart. Unlike the sleek white diplomatic vessel that had carried Maya to the Council, these ships were angular, matte black, and designed for war. Each carried advanced weapon systems, quantum shielding, and crews who had trained for years for this moment. Aboard the EDF Retribution, Admiral Harrington addressed the fleet commanders via quantum communication. Today, the Galactic Council murdered Ambassador Maya Chen, believing they could intimidate Earth into submission. Today, we show them how wrong they were. Our goal is not revenge but justice, not conquest but security. Target only military installations and government facilities. Minimize civilian casualties. Remember Maya's words, "We came in peace, but we will not bow to intimidation." Secretary General Okonkwo gave the final authorization. All ships, execute Artemis Protocol. Across the solar system, thousands of ships disappeared into hyperspace simultaneously. On the Drukhari homeworld, General Krav was addressing the military high command, boasting of how he had eliminated the human threat before it could develop fully. The holographic displays around him showed the planned blockade of Earth's solar system. Within 3 days, our forces will have Earth contained. Their primitive fleet cannot hope to. An aide rushed in. trembling. "General, we're detecting energy signatures throughout Council space. Thousands of them, appearing simultaneously." "Impossible," Krav growled. "From where?" Before the aide could answer, the building shook violently. Outside, the sky was filled with sleek black ships that had appeared from nowhere. Similar scenes played out across Council space. Earth's fleet emerged precisely where planned, above military bases, shipyards, and defense installations. Their weapons targeted only military assets, disabling rather than destroying when possible. On Nexus Station, the High Council was in chaos. High Arbiter Solana watched in disbelief as reports flooded in from across Council space. "How is this possible?" she demanded. "Earth is supposed to be a primitive world." Ziv of the Arcturan Collective stepped forward. "You were deceived, High Arbiter. Not by the humans, but by General Krav and his allies. They feared human potential and sought to eliminate them before they could join the Council as equals." The truth was dawning on many Council members. The evidence against Earth had been fabricated, the trial a sham, the execution unnecessary and illegal. And now, humanity had revealed its true capabilities, not out of aggression, but in response to a grave injustice. Aboard the EDF Retribution, David Chen watched the tactical displays as Earth's fleet systematically neutralized the Council's military capabilities. There was a strange hollowness to the victory. Nothing would bring Maya back. Admiral Harrington approached him. "It's time for the final phase." The Retribution appeared in orbit above the Drakari homeworld. Unlike the other ships in Earth's fleet, it made no aggressive moves. Instead, it broadcast a message to all channels, a recording of Maya Chen's execution, followed by a simple message: "The Galactic Council murdered our ambassador without cause. We have demonstrated our capabilities. We did not attack civilians. We did not seek conquest. We have disabled your military installations. Now, we demand justice." On the Drakari homeworld, General Krav was being arrested by his own officers. His plot exposed, his forces defeated, he had lost everything. As he was led away, he looked up to see the Earth ships hovering silently above, a power he had grievously underestimated. 3 days later, in the Grand Council chamber, a new session convened. Secretary General Okonkwo stood where Maya had stood, but this time surrounded by an honor guard of Earth's finest officers, including David Chen. High Arbiter Solana addressed the assembly. "The Council acknowledges the grave injustice committed against Ambassador Maya Chen and the people of Earth. General Krav and his conspirators have been arrested and will face justice for their crimes." Solana turned to face Secretary General Okonkwo directly. "We offer our deepest apologies for what transpired here. The Council hereby extends an invitation to Earth to join as a full member, with all rights and privileges thereof." Secretary General Okonkwo's response was measured. "Earth will consider your offer. But know this, we came in peace, and we still desire peace, but we will never again allow ourselves to be vulnerable." As the diplomatic negotiations proceeded, David Chen stood silently, the platinum pin that had once belonged to Maya now on his lapel. He thought of her final words: "Earth will not bow to intimidation." She had been right. Humanity had revealed itself not as conquerors, but as a force that demanded respect. The stars would remember what happened here, how a tragedy had transformed into a new beginning. And though Maya wasn't there to see it, her sacrifice had ensured that humanity would take its rightful place among the stars, not as supplicants, but as equals. In the vast darkness of space, Earth's fleet maintained its vigilance, a shield for humanity as it stepped onto the galactic stage. Powerful, principled, and unbowed,